Welcome back to the PixelPlay Sidequest, your bonus Friday content where we come here and talk about whatever the hell we feel like it. This week, we've got another untimely review for you. This week, it's going to be Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, we review games on our own dime and on our own time. So we bring them to you whenever we can. Adam, the floor is yours. Tell us about Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes.
Well, let me introduce you to, on my left, it's on the right on the screen. Who cares? Shut up. My lovely cast of characters that I ended the game with. Now, the person in the middle with the two hooks and the ponytail, that is your default character. We ignore him. We keep him there just for posterity's sake. Because I thought about it when I played the game originally. Because you're allowed to just not have him in your party. You can have him. There's 3 slots that are like story characters, so if you don't want to have them in your battle party, you can just put them there, so they're still in the cutscenes and everything, but they're not in the active battle party. I thought several times throughout this game to put him there, and when I feel really weird that the main character is not fighting. This is very weird. I don't like it, and I had to put him back. So I tried, couldn't do it. But the other 5, I mean, how do you hate a game where your party members are a sexy ninja, a magical girl, a shark pirate, a samurai, and a girl whose shield is bigger than her entire body? How do you hate this?
Oh my gosh, that's her shield. I just noticed that in the thumbnail. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Calling her my tank would be a fucking understatement. There is a tank in this game at some point, and I feel like she's still better defensively than the tank was. So, but anyways, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. JRPG. Kaylan already immediately is checked out. But, for those who are big JRPG fans, if you remember the series Suikoden, which was a big PlayStation 1 and 2 series, it's basically the successor to these, and it carries that same gimmick. And the big gimmick that it always had was that it had a party. Originally, it was 108, I think, Chris, was the number.
I think it was 108. Yeah.
And now it's 120 at the end of this game. And this doesn't necessarily mean 120 characters that fight for you. This could be your shopkeepers. This could be just general NPCs. There's like someone that runs the hot springs that you have there, one that runs the armor shop, one that is the smith that, upgrades all your weapons. There are farmers. There are people that help collect your materials. Like, there's all these different things. If I was to give a percentage on how many of them are actual battle members, I'd say somewhere between 60 and 70%. And some of them are definitely better than others. I honestly, there were very rare cases where I didn't put people in the party because I thought they were weak. I always went based on the characters that I genuinely loved, listening to. Because if there's anything that I will consistently say throughout this review is this game does atmosphere in terms of, the character development and the characters, interaction. The main story itself, if I had to take any complaints with it, it doesn't take a lot of risks. It's very chill. It doesn't really, there's not any real high stakes to the point that you're like, oh my God, is this person going to go, or what's going to happen to this, or you pretty much get the sense that this is the power of friendship is going to win no matter what sort of vibe to it, which is, the most cookie cutter JRPG it gets. But that's where this game changes that and gives, like I said, these just massive amount of characters so you can find your 6. No matter, by the time this game is over, you will have your 6 that are tailored to you specifically. It could be maybe you're just in for the meta game and trying to get the most effective party members, or you could be like me and just be like, which one of these characters are the fucking the coolest looking and have the best voice actor? Because the samurai looks pretty normal, but the voice actor is the fucking Drifter from Destiny, and also the narrator from Voice of Cards, which I reviewed not too long ago. So my ears are happy. I'm super happy with that. So that was my other choice. And then, obviously, sexy ninja, you can't hate that. Badass tank girl with, pink twin tails, heterochromia, so 2 different colored eyes, and just the evil, I will cut you in every conceivable way look on her face that I'm just like, all right, yeah, that's my vibe there. I need some darkness. And then magical girl, how do you hate that? There's 3 different magical girls. Also, they have combo attacks, Chris, and there is a magical girl combo attack with those 3 characters. It's fucking great. There's also another one where 2 girls, their entire combo attack is them trying to woo the enemy, And when it doesn't work, one of them gets really fucking mad and beats the shit out of them for it. Be like, why aren't you besmirched by me? Like, or whatever she said. Why aren't you enthralled? Like, I don't know what it is she specifically says, but it's something in the case of, love me, damn it! Like, basically that. It's great. But like, honestly, the kicker of this game is the voice acting is so fucking good. There are some cheesy ones, but like, if you want just a character, like I said the first time I talked about this game, you want a white mage that is full on split personality, as in super happy girl and also super I will cut your throat and serve your entrails to the entire army. That's her. If you want it, again, a pirate shark, you have it, and it is full on shark. It's full on pirate. Accent and everything. You have kangaroos. Of course they speak Australian accents. Why else would they? You have a literal crocodile Dundee who has the hat and everything, and he is a crocodile. It's fucking great. How do you hate that? You have all of these things. And if you want to go straight, if you want to go completely serious and just have like, okay, here's my samurai girl, here's my white mage, here's my black mage, here's my tank, you can do that. Or you can have my party, which makes no fucking sense. No wonder all the armies were scared as shit of me, because they looked at these characters and be like, how did they all get along with each other?
Oh,
But it's
so
great.
amazing.
Like it's definitely far more on the whimsical side, the more humorous side. Like there are some like dark moments. The villain and like the voice actor for the villain in this game is fucking fantastic. He does a great job. But like the gist of this game is that it is very lighthearted. It is very cheesy. There is a lot of, in fact, like the one thing that's really pissed me off about this game is that a lot of people have taken to modding the game to change the translation because it's not exact translations to what it is. And you look at, like, Chris, you saw me post in a different one of our Discords showing what the changes are. And it's like, it's taking all the interesting stuff out of it. Like, it gave personality to a lot of stuff. And sure, I imagine it's if you actually play the game in Japanese and then play it in English, you're like, that's not what they said. To which I go, okay, but also look at what they've translated it to, and it gives these characters so much more like personality to it. Like instead of saying, oh yeah, let's, look at my lens, isn't it cool? And instead she goes, rub-a-dub-dub, look at this flub, like, and actually like doing stuff like that where it's like, you don't see that. Like it's generally always really deadpan, seriously delivered, where now these characters, is it over the top? Yes, it is. But there aren't that many JRPGs when it comes to dialogue that actually go over the top. There's always like the one character that does it in a lot of JRPGs. Like the mascot character is usually that. The one that is literally the only non-human person in that party, usually. But like this game, like almost everybody is hamming it up in some matter. And especially, like I said in the podcast, the theater, it is great when you get to have the play where it is based off of their prequel game, and if you have the like any other voice actor play as the kangaroo character, which has the Australian accent, all the voice actors do a shitty Australian accent when they're doing the role. So like they're all having fun and it really shines through, and that's where it really gets me. Now on top of that, the battle system is pretty basic. I mean, you have 6 party members. The way that it looks and how, like, on different platforms, like, it's not just straight 6 people in a line. There's 3 people in the front, 3 people in the back. You have to make sure that if you have people in the back row, they have to be capable of being more than short range. Otherwise, they can't attack at all. So you do have to have some amount of planning. But there are 3 tiers. There's short, medium, and long. If you have a medium person in the front, they can attack the enemy back row. So they can attack both, and if you have someone who's long in the back row, they can attack as many rows as you want to. But if you have short, they can only attack what's directly in front of them. So, but they generally are more powerful, so it's kind of that risk reward. Usually how I try to build my party is 3 short people in the front, and then a mixture of medium and long in the background, because usually I'd have, another medium person in the back who has lower defense, but is still really good attack, because generally those people also not have nearly as high defense rating. So there's definitely a method to the madness to it. The only real issue I have with the battle system overall is that I find that a lot of the magic isn't as impactful as it should be. You're almost better off having more just physically based characters, and that usually gets the job done. I powered my way through a lot of stuff in this game, especially because my front row was so defense heavy that they were basically taking most of the hits and almost nothing was coming of them. The only attacks that were really dangerous were AoE spells that would do like maybe 100 damage compared to they were physically attacking my characters and doing at best 20. Like it was just like the big girl with the shield, she had a provoke thing on her too, so most of the attacks were hitting her and doing 1 damage because her defense was just so ridiculously high, so that it worked out that way. So it kind of takes away some of the, I guess, the applicability. Like I found myself, I only carried 1 black mage, and that was the magical girl, and that's just because her spell is outright stupidly powerful. So it was able to offset it. But anyone else that I plugged into that role, like they were basically there to heal when I needed it, but they never, like they would attack and do half the damage, but they were really just there to put heals on when I needed them. And that's eventually where the main character and the ninja girl basically became my extra healers, because most people can have a rune on them, which is how they do magic, kind of like Materia does in Final Fantasy, where you can give them healing magic. So really all I ended up doing was just giving healing magic to most of my physical damage characters so that if I needed something in a pinch, they could do it. Because most of them, it's not like they only get like 50 MP the entire game. Even the big damage dealers would get enough MP to cast a good chunk of healing spells when you needed them. So I felt like mages weren't nearly as necessary, and it could just be something they maybe patch later where magic has a bit more damage, but it's something like that. The biggest complaint I have is, Chris, I'm assuming, because I never played too many Suikoden games, I assume you must have played at least one of the older ones, like their army-based games where it was straight up like almost tactics-ish.
Yes.
They suck in this game. They basically are non-existent. I didn't enjoy them one bit. It was basically just, okay, go attack, we'll just get through this. Like, there's really no fun to it. You can't even skip it, so you literally have to sit there and just wait until it finishes its cutscenes. And it's not fun. Like, it just straight up wasn't fun. So anytime that those were forced on me, wasn't great. And other than that, like, going and finding everybody was pretty fun. A lot of the side quests are really cheesy. A lot of the mini games are kind of cool. Like, the card game is decent. It's certainly no Triple Triad. It's certainly no Vantage Masters. It's certainly no Queen's Blood. But it's serviceable. They have a Beyblade minigame, which is, long story short, if you want to do the Beyblade minigame for one of the characters in there, don't do it till the end game, because you're basically going to lose, because you need the end game Beyblades that you collect in order to do it, because otherwise you will lose. Its mechanics make no sense. I will literally play it like, because it has elemental weaknesses like Pokemon would, and I'll put a fire thing up against a wind thing, or a water against a fire, and I can still lose, just because reasons. Like, I can't even figure out why. I just lose. So it's like, okay, sure. So I just waited until they unlock all the quote-unquote legendary ones, collected them, boom, done. But, like, other than that, like, a couple of small spots scattered around this, like, 60, 70-hour journey, absolutely adored this game. Like, it is a 6 out of 6 despite all my complaints, because I don't think I've had more fun playing a JRPG than I have with this game. Now, is it better than Helldivers? I have a good feeling that Helldivers by the end of this year when we do our awards will probably still be above this game. But, like, it's rare that I enjoy a cast of characters like this. Like, there are so many people. I was sad kicking out at least 10 to 15 different people over the course of this game. Like, there were some, like, Scarlet, who is the pirate shark, she was the only one that I'm like, there's no way I can't get rid of her. There's no way. I can't. I fucking can't. It's so good. But, like, the other ones, I'm like, I really like this person. No, you survive one more character run. We'll see what happens on the next one that makes it difficult. Like, there's a lot of that. I'm sad that the last dungeon didn't let me have, like, multiple parties of 6. I legitimately was ready to have, like, 3 sets of 6 and go for, like, a big dungeon that was going to switch between different parties, kind of like what Final Fantasy VI does. I think one of the Suikodens did that too. I think Suikoden 5 did that. 4 or 5 did it, because I finished those two. One of them did it. I was surprised they didn't, because you figure with 120 characters, they give you one big dungeon to be like, all right, pick a couple of teams, go nuts. And it really doesn't. Like, it does a couple of times in the earlier missions, but they're very short, so it doesn't really go that long. So it was a little disappointing in there. But, like, if you're a JRPG guy and you like having, like, a bunch of different characters to find your niche, you will get that with this game. My only suggestion, and I did mention during the podcast, do not play the Switch version right now. It is very unstable. It's running horribly right now. And it's just because like they built this game to actually be a very beautifully run game, and I have a feeling that that they might have pushed a little too hard on it, that the Switch is having a little bit of trouble with it. Like Chris, this is a Steam Deck game for the fucking ages. Like I can straight up say without question, this is a Steam Deck game for the fucking ages. Like honestly, I actually at this point I have like a running list of my awards already. This is actually like the graphic award for me. Like I think this actually is even prettier than Sea of Stars, because Sea of Stars is all one, whereas I think this game does an amazing job at splitting between 2D and 3D with sprite graphics, and then also the realistic stuff. I don't think a game does it better than this, and it's been really, really good to visually to watch, and just a lot of fun to play. I think this game does a lot of things right, and if they do decide to go forward with this, man, like if they iron out a couple of stuff, if they make some of the quest lines a little bit shorter, because the Beyblade one took way too fucking long. My God, I must have done way more than there's a character with a card game that I could unlock, and that took beating them once. That was it. Just one match, done. The Beyblade thing, I had to beat more than 20 people with it. That took a long time. Was not happy about that. But like, you take care of stuff like that, you make a more enthralling story that's a little more high stakes, a little more capturing of emotions. Because at no point in this game did I have like any cry, like emotional moments. It was mostly just me smiling. And then if they could just make the tactics section a little more fun, like that, like if you fix those three things, you have a game that is going to be arguably one of the best JRPGs in its year and possibly of the generation that it's in. Like I think the framework that they've done with this game is fantastic, and they just need to improve upon what's already there. Now, if this is a one-off, it's a pretty damn good one-off, but I really hope that they now take how well this has been received and take this as being, yeah, Suikoden really does need to keep coming back, because these games are so good.
Dang. I do have a question, and it's about grinding. How is the grinding in the game? Just because there's so many characters. So
generally, it's always a flat 1,000 XP to level up. It's just a matter of what level you are dictates how much XP you earn. So if you are level 40 and you recruit a party member that's level 25, if you fight something at your level, they will level up pretty quick. And there are also early accessories that can also help their growth a little bit better. There's also a little cheesy doodling you can do. There's a specific area, like if for anybody who's either looking into the game or gets it down the road, you can just literally look up a farm guide for Eiyuden Chronicle. There's a specific area where a guard will prevent you from going further into that area, but if you stand directly behind him and just run against the invisible wall, you can trigger battles that are way higher level than you're supposed to be encountering, so you can get high XP early. So by the time I got to the end of the game, no, they weren't touching me.
You were in God mode? Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I will be doing.
There's also a bonus dungeon that is really difficult that you can use if you really wanted to grind up, but like I finished at level 59, 60, and it was already way too easy. So if you get up to 99, you're going to poke the boss to death, let's be real.
Boop, boop.
But yeah, I honestly think there's a lot to love about it. Kaylan, I can say without a shadow of doubt it's not for you.
I'm out.
So you don't have to worry about it. But like
Kaylan's
Chris,
game of the year.
Yeah, you will definitely find something to love. And I would be so curious if you do play this game, like what you end up like finishing with party-wise, because it's probably going to be so much more different than me.
Oh, 100%. Just because, yeah.
Except for the pirate shark. You better stick to her.
Oh, that's going to be my main character. I'm actually going to replace the main character with a shark. There's no way.
And here's the reason.
I
One,
have questions
she's a pirate.
about the shark.
Two, she's a shark. And three, her ability is that she can charge up almost like it's a solar beam attack. So, like, for example, her attack normally...
do.
Her attack, like, it's not a solar beam attack, Kayla. I'm just saying she charges up an attack and takes a turn off and then does extra damage. So, normally, if I attacked with her at the end game, it would do 240, 250. You would think, oh, charging, that's going to do double damage. Incorrect. She would do sometimes 750. It would almost triple sometimes. So I'd be like, all right, she's not going to touch you, but when she does, it's going to hurt.
Like a shark would. See, Kaylan, it makes sense.
How does the shark see? Like the eyes just don't make sense. It can't see in front of it. Also, how does the shark breathe? And how does the shark walk?
Oh, it's really funny. They're terrified of water because they're from the sand. They're desert sharks. So at one point in the game, it's sort of a minor spoiler, but they save you and they come in on boats on water because they usually run sand ships. And the guys on the boat are freaking out because they're like, I don't want to dissolve in this blue mysterious liquid. It's fucking great.
Okay, great. Adam, what are we giving the ranking on this one?
Oh, it's a 6 out of 6. Look, the sharks.
Fantastic.
The sharks are the belt of this game. They are the fucking belts from the Expanse. That is what they are. It's the best way I can explain them.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking with us. If you like that, check us out on PixelPlay Podcast on YouTube. Wherever you get your podcasts, we have a whole weekly episode where we talk about video games. This week, we talked about Assassin's Creed Shadow and the new CEOs at Sony, so check that out. Also, don't forget Adam's Retro Rando every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, keep coming by. See how long it takes me to actually play a good game.
If you haven't done that yet, subscribe there so you can keep track. You can find out when Adam eventually plays a good game. And with that, we are out.